Hello, everybody. Hi, Miguel. How are you? Hi, Monica. Hi, Vicky. How are you guys? How's going on today? Hi, Desafío. Okay, I'm glad you are good. Hi, Martina. I hope you are good at home, okay? As always, these times. So, I'm Cristina. I'm an English teacher from Aula Abierta, okay? And we're going to talk about B1 speaking test, okay? You know that B1 is preliminary English test, and I'm going to give you some tips to do the speaking parts. Hi, Dulces Inspiraciones. Hi, AMCR 79. Hi, Vega. Okay, so let's talk about speaking B1, okay? So I'm going to start with speaking parts to understand more how Cambridge examines the students, okay? So first, you should know there are 4 speaking parts, okay? Part number 1, part number 2, part number 3, and part number 4. The full time, okay, to do your speaking parts, speaking test is almost 15 minutes, okay, and you will do 2 parts individually and 2 parts with your partner, okay. Normally you choose one of your friends that is studying with you, okay, the same level, B1 level, okay. So you will go to a class and you're going to see 2 people, okay. One is the examiner. I told my students we call him or her examinator, okay, but it's the examiner, and another and a teacher, okay. They are going to be only 2 people, and your partner and you, okay. So you should be polite. So you say hello, good morning, good afternoon, thanks, and these other questions that you need to use in this type of exams, because maybe you don't understand a question is, sorry, can you repeat me the question, please? Or, sorry, I couldn't understand. So they are going, the examinator is going to answer you, ask you again the question, okay? So sorry, because I'm a little bit nervous. Normally, I don't teach in front of a camera, so it's going to be um, very difficult for me, but I will try to do my best, okay? Hi, everybody. We continue with, I say the time, I say that there are going to be 2 people with you and with your partner, and now, I'm going to start with part number 1, okay? For me, and I think for everybody, part number 1 is the easiest one, because they are going to, the examinator is going to ask you easy questions, okay? Like, what's your name? Where do you live? Are you a student or are you a worker? Do you like English, or do you like eating sausages, okay? So the examinator is going to ask you this type of questions because he or she wants that you feel comfortable with the conversation, okay? It's very important to understand these questions and answer these questions in a good way, okay? Try to be positive. Try to be honest with your answers, okay? One of the tips that I'm going to tell you that you can use is when you say your answer, when you answer the question, okay, say, no, don't say yes or no, okay? For example, do you like English? You don't say, yes, no. You need to say, yes, I do. I love English. I like learning a lot of languages. Or if your answer is no, you can say, no, I don't. I prefer studying French or I prefer studying Italian, okay? Be honest with your answers, okay? So now, part number two. Part number two, I think is a little bit difficult because you need to see one picture, one photo, okay? The examinator is going to ask you what can you see in this photo, okay? I'm going to show you material that you are going to see in the real exam, okay? This is part number two. One picture is for you and one picture is for your partner, okay? So in part number two, this picture, you need to describe the picture. For example, what can you see in this picture? I'm going to let you 1 minute, okay, to look at the photo, okay? And then you have to tell me what you can see in the photo. Normally, these are the typical photos, pictures you can see in a B1 exam speaking, okay? Normally it's 1 minute. Don't stop talking, okay? The examiners don't like when a person say only 1 or 2 sentences and stop. No, it's impossible in one exam by Cambridge, okay? So be nice, be slow, okay? You have time. Try to use your grammar perfectly, okay? For example, in this photo, I can see a lot of people. People are buying in a market, okay? So this type of sentences, you can talk about what are they doing, how many people you can see, or also about the weather. Doesn't matter, but talk about only about the photo, only about the photo. Don't talk about that you have 1 or 2 brothers or you live in Mexico, okay? You need to talk about only about the picture, okay? I think you get the point. What do you think about part number 2? Do you think it's difficult for you? I don't know if you are planning to do B1 exam, but I think part number 2 is one of the most difficult parts in the speaking, not part 1 at all. No? It depends on the person and it depends on your range of vocabulary, okay? If you have a lot of vocabulary, you can, if you can use a lot of grammar, it's going to be good. Maybe it's not B1, maybe you need to take a B2 exam, okay? I don't know. It's an opinion. Now, we have part number 3, okay? Look at this. This is part number 3. Don't look at this 4, okay? This is part number 3, one of the examples of part number 3. In part number 3, the examinator is going to describe a situation, okay? You need to talk about this situation. For example, they are going to describe you these 4 houses, these 4 type of houses, and you have to talk to your partner. So you need to have a discussion with your partner, okay? And talk about if you agree or you don't with the options, okay? So you need to reach an agreement with your partner. This is part number 3. I think it's easy because if you are confident with your partner, it's going to be easier. So if you know your partner you met before, it's going to be easy. So what do you think about part number 3? Do you think it's easy or difficult? Okay, so when you finish part number 3, you continue with part number 4. So in part number 4, the examiner is going to ask you questions related to the topic of part 3. So if in part 3 you ask, the examiner asks you about houses, part number 4, he's going to ask you questions about this kind of topic, like where do you live in your country, what is famous, what kind of houses are famous, or for example, do you live in a flat or in a house? Okay, so it depends on the examiner is going to be good. Okay, it's going to be easier or more difficult. You think part 3 is easy? Yeah, I don't think it's difficult. Yeah. Okay, so we talk about part number 3 and we talk about part number 4 that are related, both. So you need to ask, you need to answer these questions in part number 4 as fully as possible. Okay, don't say I live in Spain and the houses are big. No. Okay? That's not a good answer. Can you tell me how can you answer this question? For example, I live in Spain. In Spain, there are a lot of kind of houses. It depends on the place. For example, if you go to the north of Spain, you can see a kind of houses, typical houses like, I don't know. Okay? Or for example, if you go to the south, they are smaller than in the north. Okay, so you need to describe, you need to answer as fully as possible. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what things you can't do in the exam, in the real exam. Okay, so for example, in part number 1, as I told you before, don't say yes or no in part number 1. Okay, you need to try to give a reason. Okay, for example, what's your favorite animal? Don't say a cat, and that's all. Okay, you need to say, for example, cats because I love sleeping and eating all day. I want to be a cat, or I don't know. It depends on your animal. Okay, I would not say cat, maybe, or dog, because they are typical. But you can choose, but be honest. More things. If they ask you, do you like English? Normally, if you answer in a positive way, like yes, I think it's better. If the examinator asks you, do you like English? And you say, no, I don't. Why are you doing an exam, a PET exam or B2 exam? That's not, that doesn't work. So I think if you do this type of exams and you spend a lot of money in these exams, you should like English. Of course, it's my opinion. Maybe it's not the truth, but I think this. Okay? So, in part number 2, don't talk about anything which is not related to the picture. Okay? So, if you see the supermarkets or the markets, talk about the photo. Don't talk about the weather. I told you before. Okay? Now, another tip in part number 3, listen carefully to the situation and look at the pictures, okay? Discuss with your partner what is the best. And make sure you give the chance to your partner to talk, because maybe he or she, they are shy or quiet, okay? Don't try to talk speak everything and let him or her doing the same, okay? It's polite. Now, another tip. Listen carefully the question and say as much as you can, okay? So, this is for part number 3 and for part number 4, could be, okay? Now, this is another tip. Don't be afraid don't be afraid of asking the examinator that he needs or she needs to repeat the question. If you didn't understand, it's normal. You can ask, sorry, can you repeat me again the question? I think it's easy to ask this. Okay? So what do you think about the tips? Did you know before these tips? There are general tips. I think everybody knows. And maybe if you are studying English, your teachers told you before. I told my students to be nice, to be polite, to ask questions. Okay? Because now I'm going to talk about my experience, okay? I took this exam B1 when I was 21 years old, and I was in Dublin, okay? I went to Dublin to study English because I couldn't study when I was at the high school or at university, so I went to Dublin and I took the exams there in an academy. I have good remembers from this period of time, okay? And I wasn't afraid with my speaking exam. I think I was afraid with my listening exam. I don't think a speaking test by Cambridge is difficult or the worst part of the test, the full test. You only need to review topics, vocabulary, use your grammar. You don't need a lot of things to pass the exam. I think it's not easy, but if you are not nervous and you believe in yourself, you can pass the exam. What do you think, guys? I'm checking your comments. Okay, yeah. So, what about you? Did you go abroad to study English? Do you study English in an academy now? I'm going to show you one thing that is important if you want to study for your exam, okay? They don't pay me, Cambridge doesn't pay me, but I need to recommend this book, okay? I'm preparing my students with this book. I think is one of the best that Cambridge has, okay? Because there are a lot of information about the exam. You can review all the parts. My students are really, really happy with this book. I use this, and always I try to study with the kids with Cambridge. I think they are the best. So sorry, but they are the best. And yeah, I use this book. I also take some worksheets from the platform, and I study with them. They are really the book is really nice. I can see your comments. Yes, I study in an academy. Vicky, well done. Vega, you study at a school. You are lucky. You're very lucky. You need to, I think the best way to understand English, to learn a language, is to go abroad. I went abroad to study English, and it was nice because you not only study with a book, you need to go to the supermarket and talk with the cashier, or you need to go to a pub and have a drink. You need to ask for a drink. or you meet other people from other countries. This is the best experience of my life, one of the best. Okay? So, did you like the tips I told you? I hope yes. You say yes. And I need to remember that at 7 o'clock you will have more activities in Cultural Actes. Okay? Tomorrow I will be here again telling you P2 tips. Okay? This is more difficult, but we are going to have a good time together. Let me know if you have any question. You can tell me, okay, I'm here. You can ask me. And that's all. So, see you tomorrow and have a great afternoon. Bye bye.